Are you tired of paying $100 or more for oil changes and waiting for hours just to get your car back? You're still gonna have to wait for hours, but do it yourself and save a lot of money. In this video, I'm gonna show you very quickly how to do your own oil change. It might be a little time consuming, but if you wanna save a couple bucks, it's definitely worth the money. And all you gotta do is put in a little bit of elbow grease. It's not at all difficult. It's just, you know, physical labor. So let's get started with the first few things that you'll need. You're gonna need one, a jack. This is probably more than you'll need because you can definitely use your stock jack to lift the car. This is just a lot easier and a lot more convenient than your stock jack. Then what you will need, no matter what, are jack stands. You do not want to get under your car without having these. These are way more stable than any jack and way less likely to fail. You need to have jack stands to put your car's weight on. Next, you're gonna need just basic hand tools. You don't need this huge toolbox. This is where I keep my ratchet set, and you're probably only gonna need a very few things from here. Then you'll need funnels. I like to use two, one for my clean oil for putting into the engine, and one for draining the old oil into the old container. We'll get into that later. You'll need a pan to drain your oil into, and it's always good to keep a little rag around for wiping up any possible spillage anywhere in your engine bay, pouring in the new oil, or under the car, draining your old oil. And one last thing that I forgot to grab here is I like putting a big piece of cardboard under as well, in case I do spill trying to pour the old oil into this oil pan. It doesn't get on my driveway. I keep the floor safe and stain free just by putting a piece of cardboard down there with me. So those are just the basic tools you'll need. Next, you'll need the actual oil to do the oil change. So let me grab that real quick. Here's that piece of cardboard I mentioned. As you can see, I have spilled oil on this thing before. All of that, imagine all of that on your driveway instead. Yeah, you don't want that. Use something under your oil drain just to make sure you keep your space clean. All right, so today I'm doing an oil change on my girlfriend's car where I don't know when the last time the oil filter was changed, so I'm just gonna change the oil filter, and of course we're doing an oil change, so I'm changing the oil. The type of oil you need depends on your car. The easiest way to find this out is just a quick Google search or going to the parts store and having them look it up for you because they have all of that in their system. Just make sure you get a name brand. It really doesn't matter which one. As long as you get a name brand, you're gonna be fine. And in terms of the oil filter, some people suggest changing your oil filter every other oil change, and some people like to do it every oil change. That's up to you and how much you wanna spend. These things are typically $5, $10. So I would just do it every oil change if it's easier that way for you. And maybe if you're on a time crunch or something, skip the oil filter and do it next time. But that's completely up to you. You could also look up what your manufacturer suggests and do it that way. For my girlfriend's car, it's a 2017 Jetta. It's a 1.4, and it takes 5W30 or 5W40 according to Volkswagen. But at the parts store, they suggested 40, so that's what I went with. And I got the extended life oil filter from them as well. When looking up oil filters, all you have to do is look up the oil filter from your car and it'll tell you what it is, and there'll be these tiny numbers down here that you probably can't see from there. It's always nice to put on some gloves to keep your hands clean. Now, let's get started. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. So lame. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is get your jack and your jack stand, find your jacking point under the car, lift it up, and put your jack stand under. So let's get to that. You don't want this falling on you while you're under the car. So make sure they're nice, stable, secure, and they're not going anywhere. Now it's time to get whatever small toolbox you have and get under the car. Once you get down here, you'll see a big plastic cover on most modern cars. This plastic cover should almost never block access to your oil drain. So you shouldn't have to remove this, but if you do, you can always look for where it's mounted, and you'll find little screws like these all the way around to remove it. As you can see, there's no plastic cover back here, which on this 2017 Jetta is where the oil drain plug is. So now what you're gonna do is get yourself a ratchet and a socket that fits this bolt. I guessed incorrectly, this is not a 17. So at this point, you do not want to remove this bolt, you just want to crack it loose. There we go. Now we're gonna leave it like this for now. This car's oil filter is right here, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to access this without spilling if I don't remove this plastic cover. So let's put this on hold and take this plastic cover off. I know some of you might not have a small drill, so if you don't, a screwdriver is fine. Where are they? These on this car are Torx, I believe 25s. Yeah, they're T25 Torx screws. So just use the right bit if you don't have this, but I have this, so I'm gonna go buy faster. Now make sure you put all your screws together and don't lose them, because you want to put everything back exactly how it was. I just want to show you guys, this is what happens when someone is lazy and they do the oil filter without removing this. It's only a few screws, get it off. That way you don't have gunky stuff like this all under your car. Now we're getting to the good part. Get your rag, your oil drain pan, and your cardboard, and let's get down here. So you're gonna wanna position this pan something like this, where it's long ways away from here, because it's gonna come out flowing that way. So you don't want it to be straight under. You need it to be that way, and you can move it as it starts to pour. So now that we have this down here, we can completely remove this bolt. After cracking it, it should be, oh, we're leaking already. See, and this is why it's good to have the rag. I can wipe this up before it gets anywhere else. Typically, this is not how this would go. It should not be leaking this much. Whoa. The wind is really ruining this right now. This is a perfect example of why it's good to keep this cardboard down here. No. Be careful. Be careful not to drop your bolt in here like I almost just did. And yeah, normally this has never actually happened to me before, where it's leaking like crazy before I can even get the bolt remotely close to off. So now I'm covered in oil, but at least the driveway is nice and safe from all these shenanigans. Let me wipe anything that could be going towards the driveway. Now you just let it pour. And I would say keep an eye on it to make sure it doesn't start doing that. You see, now it's coming this way. Gotta make sure you try to keep the spillage to an absolute minimum. When doing an oil change, you should replace this anyway, and at the very least replace the crush washer. So we're gonna run to the store real quick and grab one of those. All right, I'm about to show you guys how easy it is to get something from a parts store, whether it's oil filter, or in this case, the drain bolt. It's super easy. All you need to know is, the year, make, and model of your car and the part you're looking for. So look how easy this is. What's that, man? Can I get oil drain bolt? And I don't know if it'll come with the crush washer or not. It's for a 2017 Jetta.
What motor is in it?
It's the 1.4.
Yeah, it comes with the crush washer.
Comes with the crush washer on it. Perfect. That's all I need. Just to.
673.
They can't find the bolt.
I'm gonna do cash or card?
Cart.
We're gonna.
Right. Thank you, man. You too. That took so long. That was almost comical how long that took. I paid less than $7 for this. So either replace your crush washer or both every time you do your oil change. I honestly should have said that from the beginning, but it is what it is. Let's go. All right, so, I forgot to put new gloves on. I'll do that now. But these bolts look identical, so maybe something was wrong with this one because, oil! Because it should not have been spilling out the way it was while I was still trying to remove the bolt. I'm gonna hope that doesn't happen again next time. But like I said, every time you do an oil change, you should be changing your crush washer anyway. So buy a new bolt, buy a new crush washer, and get that replaced. So now that this has come to a very, very slow leak, let's replace the bolt. And at this point in time, we can tighten this all the way because we're not draining any more oil, so we can put this all the way in. Me personally, I don't like leaving anything dirty or oily, so I like to wipe this whole area down here as soon as I'm done and I'm putting this bolt back in to try to keep this as clean as possible. If you like being super picky, you can look up torque specs and tighten it to the correct torque spec. But really and truly, as long as it's tight on here, you're gonna be fine. Make sure it's nice and tight, and that'll be good enough. Maybe give it one last tug. I think that's my beer out here getting cold.
Okay.
That's crazy. What the? Yes. So I know this is at the very edge of your view here, but I'm sure you see this oil filter here. We don't want to spill, again, oil anywhere. So yeah, we're gonna move this above the oil filter because the oil filter is going to leak. There is no way it doesn't leak. Watch this. Oh, thank God, when I did my car, if you guys watched that video, that shit was super tight. I'm so glad I'm able to do this. Yeah, you see that? Boom, leaking. It's gonna leak a bunch from here. So just let that do its thing while you slowly remove it. Oh God, try not to let the wind make a mess out of your stuff here. Scoot it over. Oh, she was fancy. She was overpaying for Valvoline oil changes. Look at this. This one was last, damn, and they actually dated it. Good job, Valvoline. Hey, at least they do a good job. This can't be right. I'm pretty sure that says 12/30/23. You see, this is why I don't trust nobody and I do my own oil changes. That's insane. So anyways, after you get this off, me personally, I like to come down with it like this to decrease spillage and then flip it over into this and just place it on there and let it exist on there to drain itself while we get our new one. So let me go grab that real quick. All right guys, we're almost at our final steps. I've got my new oil filter here. I've got my oil. Now, I don't know if this is necessary. You can look this up yourself if you want to do it or not. But most people, which is what I'm going to do right now, will open this up, dip my finger in the fresh oil, and rub a little ring around here. So I'm going to do that very quickly and then get it screwed right into where the old one was. All right, I hope you can see this because I'm not filming it again. Just going to put this exactly where the old filter was and twist it on. Now, if you have a tool or something for loosening these, do not use it to tighten them. These are only supposed to be hand tight because they will get tighter with the heat of the engine and you don't want it to be impossible to remove. So that right there is plenty of tightness on this. Just give it a quick wipe now from the old oil and boom. You can now remove this from here, put our plastic piece back on if you needed to remove it, and drop the car. So let's get to that. With your plastic screwed back in, your bolt tightened, and your oil filter put back in, or the new oil filter put in, you're done with the underside of the car. Make sure none of your tools are down there. It's time to drop this car off at jack stands. A quick tip for when you have to jack the car up from the pinch welds, you don't want to damage those pinch welds, and this will absolutely do that. So you put the jack here and let this wood evenly distribute the pressure along the pinch weld and it will not damage it. And it obviously don't use something like a fucking brick or something. Use a piece of wood, it's a little softer, it'll be easier on that pinch weld. Now, you don't want to leave a mess, especially in like my case, I'm working at my dad's driveway. So always make sure you grab everything you're throwing away and you know, clean up after yourself, put all your tools away. All right guys, we're almost done. You're gonna want to get inside your car. Typically, near the driver's left foot. There should be somewhere to open your hood. Find that and pop your hood. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is find where you put your oil in at. Obviously remove the cap, and you're gonna fill all your oil into here. But before you do that, do a quick Google search as to how much your car takes. My Ford Focus requires 6 quarts. So I had to buy one of these, which is 5 quarts, and a 1 quart to fill up my car, to fill the oil in my Focus. And this car actually takes a lot less. As a matter of fact, I don't remember how much it takes. So I'm gonna do that quick Google search. So we're gonna go on a Google tab, well it's a Safari, but you get the point. How much oil in a 1.4 2017 Jetta? Okay, so you can see here it says 4.2 quarts. This is for a 2017 1.4. The size of your engine is very important because this car has also, I believe, a 1.6 or 1.8, I don't remember, and also a 2-liter version. Those are both bigger engines that are gonna take more oil. Since this one is the 1.4, it takes 4.2 quarts. So I have to make sure I don't pour this whole thing in there because this is 5 quarts. There is measurements on the side here. So I can pour probably about, pour until there's about 0.5. It might be a little over, but I can get anywhere in this range and I know that I have enough oil in my car. Let's get to pouring this oil. Where's my funnels? A little bit more. And I don't know if that's 0.2, but it looks good enough. So, the next place, oh shit. Oh, I spilled some oil in there. In my defense, look at this shitty ass, like, why is this here? What do you call this? I've never seen an oil fill with this blocking the way. Anyway, pour slowly, be careful because I poured a little too fast in here and I spilled some. But that's what we keep rags for. Stuff this in there and clean that area up. The next thing you want to do is check this dipstick. Really, this is going to be more accurate when the car is warm. You want to warm the car up and then obviously check the oil with the car off. You don't want to check the oil with the car on. You just want the car to get up to temperature. But this will still give you a pretty general idea. So yeah, now that you've cleaned everything up, yeah, you can close your hood. Once you verify that it's not leaking, you're pretty much done with the oil change. The only thing you're gonna have left to do is figure out how to reset your oil change interval in your car, which if you have a 2017 Jetta like this one, we're gonna figure that out right now. All right, from a quick Google search, it says to hold this 0.0 set button while the ignition is off, and then it says press the ignition, which I don't have 2 hands for. Now it's on the screen, do you want to reset oil service? And we'll press OK. And it says there, oh, yeah, anyway, I reset the service. So yeah, that's it. But there's one more thing you have to do. You have to dispose properly of your old oil. Unfortunately, I still have almost a quart of oil in here, but I have nowhere to store it, and I can't keep this bottle because I need it to drain this. So if your car takes less than 5 quarts, unless you have somewhere to put that extra oil, it is unfortunately gonna get wasted. This is what the second funnel is for. This is a good funnel for this because it's nice and wide, and I know I'm not gonna spill anything. So, give me 1 second. Okay, so the Hispanic parents that live in my head are telling me not to be wasteful and throw this away. So I'm actually gonna keep this, and I guess eventually I'll have enough leftovers to do another oil change. I don't know, something's really just telling me not to throw this away. But if you had an empty bottle, you would pour your old oil with a nice open funnel from the drain pan into this, and then you take this bottle with the old oil to your nearest parts store so they can properly dispose of it. Do not throw away oil anywhere that is not at a parts store. Don't throw it down your drain, don't throw it into your trash bin. It needs to be properly disposed of. But yeah, that's it. Your oil's changed, your service notification is reset. All you gotta do now is clean up, you know, make sure you put all your tools away, throw all your trash away, dispose properly of your oil, and take your car for a test drive. So let's go do that. All right, so you really don't need to go for a test drive after an oil change, but just make sure your car is not making any noises. And if you have an oil pressure gauge, make sure that it's fine, but if not, just make sure your car is not getting hot, because if there's not enough oil or no oil, your car will run very hot. So just make sure of those things. And again, check your dipstick to make sure you have oil. I just put everything away, including this chair. I should have recorded this before that. I hope you guys learned something today. Always, when you're working on your cars, this is just a basic guide of how to change your oil. You know, just the basic steps you have to follow no matter what car you have. Just make sure you do the right research and you get the right parts for your car. Make sure you get the proper oil for your car, the proper filter for your car, the proper drain bolt for your car, and make sure you put in the right amount of oil that your car requires. Make sure that you properly reset your oil change interval if you have a newer car that does that, you know, and make sure you always clean up after yourself. It's okay, people make messes like today. It's probably the messiest oil change I've ever done, except for the one time that I forgot to put the bolt back in, but we're not gonna talk about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.